I don't know. I wouldn't know how he feeling. Like I would hope he would think about it and this would be in his mind. But I wouldn't actually know what another person is feeling at this time. You just can think that this person knows and thinking about it and stuff like that. I really want to know. So my mom did tell me she went in there and filed a fraternity test, and it just basically I can say it was a whole lot of running around with that case. It was a whole lot of things that wasn't, what can I say? We didn't have enough information to push the case. That's what I basically can say. We didn't have enough information to keep the case going. So it was a big case to me because I really wanted to find out who my father was, and for the case not to go how I was planning it. I really thought it was going to go different than what it was, but I really feel like it should have been over with because I feel like if it was anybody else, I'm not saying this because people got higher standards or people make more money than that, but it's just different because if it was anybody else that made a low income, I feel like they would have had them in there way faster than people that's wealthy. I really try not to get frustrated, basically. I really try not to think about it, I go on with my life because anything could happen, but I still gotta live for myself at the end of the day. I still gotta work and bring in income for me. I can't sit around. I gotta get up off my feet and do something. I can't wait on the world. Like I can't say, I can't wait on anybody to want to respond when they want to. It is important that I know who my biological father is, just because my mom's health. I don't know if it's coming from our family or it's coming from the other side, and that would be something I really would want to find out because in the future you don't know what could happen. And a lot of people are so quick to judge because they see somebody coming out and try to find out if the person trying to find out things, they so negative to push you down. People are just so quick to judge a person that's a low, I won't say low income, but somebody that doesn't have it, and somebody that does, they always think you coming after that person's money, or they never look at the full story and things like that. It was rough, living in Philadelphia. It was a hard city. It started to get wilder as the years went on.
Have you ever been in a situation where you were almost killed?
I have been. I wouldn't say the crossfire was for me, but it was people. It was a couple shootings that I have been around, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't intended for me or nothing like that. It's just it's dangerous down there, Paris.
Beyoncé and Jay-Z, two of the biggest names in music and pop culture, have always kept their family life private. However, today, we're getting a rare look into their world, especially their youngest son, Sir Carter. Even though he's one of the most famous kids in the world, Sir is rarely seen in public. Despite this, he's already won the hearts of fans worldwide.
Oh, for her.
Yeah.
I know that had to be an experience that your mother shouldn't even have to go through. I understand it happened, but I know that had to be something that just like you said, our head exploded, shot. It's just, I believe that no child should have to go through this. No person should have to go through this. If we have, all the tools we need to find out the truth, why is the government hiding this from us? Why they can't do it for us?
So my question for you is, on your journey as you're getting older,
yes,
where was your head at when you started to think about these things?
I would say I was lost. But as I said, I got a strong support system. So it's I lost it for a minute, not kind of going crazy or anything, but I just had a lot of, questions to ask myself, and I got kids, so, I want to be the best father I can be for my kids, and I always want to be supportive to them, and I hate lying to them. So it's at certain things, when your kids ask, it's only, you only can tell them the truth to an extent because you don't even know. So it's this was bigger for me than any person. And my mom, with her not being here, it just fueled me to go harder. I know there's something she would want it and something she fought for, so it's I'm fighting for it too. It's nothing wrong with trying to find out the truth. So it just made me, lose it for a second. But I gained back and just worked and got around family and we did a little camping. I love going camping, fishing with my son. Just got back to a good space. That's it.
Okay, so how old were you then when you were told the story of how your mom met Jay-Z?
I would say, officially, probably I would say like a 10 or 11. She told me when I was like 6 who my father was, but when she fully started telling me stories, I guess when I could better understand as I got older, it was really like 10 or 11. Then that's when she started telling me like, Rod, this is your person, this is your dad, and showing me little pictures that she did have of him and little clips and little videos that she had. And
Beyoncé and Jay-Z's kids show that they're just as influential offstage as their parents are on it. Their first child, Blue Ivy, has already made a name for herself, performing alongside her famous parents and making headlines. Meanwhile, the twins, Rumi and Sir, are often seen joining the family on outings. Although Sir keeps a low profile, the few times we do see him, it's clear he shares a strong, close bond with Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and the rest of the family.
Talking about like little music videos he had, I guess back out back in the days, and little clips, I guess, from shows, whatever. This was little. I was so young, I didn't fully understand, but I watched them and I listened to my mom, and I just continued with life because I'm a kid. Like, you want to hear these things, but you don't want to hear these things. So it's like I listen, but I kind of try to block it out. Blocked it out a little bit.
And did you reach a point over the years where you wanted to reach out and say hi?
Yes, as I got older, I thought that it would be a good idea to, try to have a relationship, or at least I can say I tried on my part. I did reach out. My mom signed a letter. It was, they seemed cooperative at the beginning, but then it just started going to the left, I guess. Nobody was communicating no more, and it just was all court action.
And what was the story that was told to you as to how your mom had met Jay-Z?
Well, basically, my mom was at a show, and she was with a friend. And, I guess her and her friend stayed to, after the show, he was doing little signings and little autographs and stuff like that. I guess he wasn't too big, but, I guess females, when the show's over, you can sign little autographs and stuff like that, talk to the people who performed. She said she went up there, and her friend and they start talking, I guess, wound up leaving with them. He took them to some apartment building, and they did what they did in there, talked a little bit, had a good time, party, and I guess I can't fully talk as my mom because I'm not my mom. I'm just telling you guys what she told me. It was just, and I honestly just believe it. It's just no doubt in my mind that I believe it. My mom wouldn't just make something up like that, and it's been no challenge to say that my mom was telling no type of fraud, no type of lie. Nobody ever said anything to me. All right, well, I don't know your mom. I don't know who your mom is. This is a lie. Never got anything. So why wouldn't I believe my mom? Like, we could have been settled this, and it only takes a conversation and some words. I'm not a hateful guy. I don't hate anyone. I'm not after nobody. I'm not trying to see no one downfall. But this is just some things that just went through court, and they just expected me to just sit there and just take what they were saying. I can't.
Sir Carter and his twin sister Rumi were born in June 2017, bringing 2 more bundles of joy to Beyoncé and Jay-Z's family, 5 years after their firstborn, Blue Ivy. Since their birth, the couple has made a point to keep their children's lives private, avoiding the public eye. Unlike other celebrity families who frequently share pictures of their kids, the Carters have been very selective, sharing only a few photos and moments over the years. Their careful approach to privacy shows how much they value keeping their family life intimate and protected from the spotlight.
Latest on Jay-Z, the music mogul's attorney fired back at the woman accusing him of raising questions about the events more than 20 years ago. ABC News Live anchor Lindsay Davis here with the story. Good morning, Lindsay.
Hey, good morning to you guys. Jay-Z's attorney is calling it all a sham. He says that some glaring inconsistencies in his accuser's story have come to light, and he claims that they're enough for the case to be dismissed.
Attorneys for rap mogul Jay-Z are doubling down on their defense this morning, calling recent rape allegations a sham.
It's not just that this story is a lie and that it's not true. It's provably, demonstrably false. This never happened.
The recently amended civil lawsuit, originally filed by a Jane Doe in October, identified celebrity A as Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, claiming at a VMA's after-party in 2000 that he and fellow rapper Sean Diddy Combs drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl at an after-party. Both Carter and Combs have vehemently denied the claims. Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Spiro, is now highlighting what he says are inconsistencies in the woman's story. According to the lawsuit, after approximately 20 minutes, plaintiff arrived at what she believed to be a large white residence with a gate U-shaped driveway. Spiro disputes her account.
There is no such location in New York, 20 minutes from Radio City. It does not exist.
Spiro also claims this photo of Jay-Z at a VMA's after-party at the Lotus Club is proof that he was at a different location from where the woman says it occurred. The defense says that no witnesses have corroborated her story, most notably her own father, who lived 5 hours away at the time. But the lawsuit claims that after leaving the party, the woman called her father to pick her up and that he arrived shortly before dawn. But NBC News reports that after contacting the accuser's father, he said, "I feel like I would remember that, and I don't."
You drove 10 hours to pick up your 13-year-old daughter in New York City? It's not something you would forget. It's not something that he did forget, because this never happened.
Cops wanna knock me, DA wanna box me in, but somehow I beat them charges like Rocky.
The hip-hop heavyweight is already declaring victory in a statement, writing, "True justice is coming," adding, "This was over before it began." But Jane Doe's attorney, Tony Busby, has remained defiant, stating, "As far as the allegations in the complaint filed, we will let the filing speak for itself."
Jay-Z has made it clear that he plans to fight this lawsuit and these allegations until the end. According to his lawyer, Jay-Z is upset that this distracts and dissuades from real victims coming forward. Meanwhile, the attorney for the accuser maintains that she remains adamant about her claim, guys.
All right, Lindsay, thank you for bringing that to us. Appreciate that.
Every once in a while, fans get a rare glimpse of Sir, and it's always worth the wait. Whether it's a candid family photo or a special moment shared by Beyoncé or Jay-Z, these glimpses remind everyone just how precious and private the Carter family's world really is.
13-year-old girl back in 2000. The lawsuit was originally filed against Sean Diddy Combs back in October, then refiled on Sunday to add Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter. The plaintiff, identified as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men at a Video Music Awards after-party. The artists have denied those accusations. Now, in a statement through his company, Rock Nation, Jay-Z responded to the lawsuit and the lawyer representing the plaintiff, saying, quote, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud that you are," his words, in a very public fashion. "So no, I will not give you one red penny," end quote. Now, the lawyer, Busby, did not immediately respond for comment on this, but has refuted Carter's accusations of blackmail on social media. Meanwhile, Sean P. Diddy Combs is still in custody in New York, awaiting his trial on federal trafficking charges. He tried to secure bail but was denied several times. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson joins us now to go over this lawsuit. Welcome, Jessica. A lot to talk about here. What can you tell us about the timing of Jay-Z's allegations, since he wasn't named in that initial lawsuit filing?
That's right. Well, we don't know for sure, but in hearing Jay-Z's response, I think one possible scenario is that the attorneys came to him and said, "We'd like X amount of money, and if you don't give it, then we are going to name you in a civil suit." Now, again, we're reading tea leaves here, but it would be reasonable to think that there was some discussions, let's say, behind the scenes. And sometimes what happens is that a celebrity feels like the accusations alone are so harmful that it's worth it for them to say, okay, here's this pot of money. Sometimes they feel like saying, giving over the money and having that potentially be reported will look like they're admitting guilt. Here, what we have is Jay-Z being extremely unequivocal in saying, not me, not it, no way, no how. And in fact, I think we might see a situation where Jay-Z and his attorneys might go after the attorney who filed the case, potentially asking for sanctions, potentially saying that this is a frivolous suit and or that there was no good faith basis to add Jay-Z to this complaint.
Now, given that this is a civil lawsuit, Jessica, what are your thoughts on the plaintiff still going under the name Jane Doe in this lawsuit? If she wants this to continue forward, will we eventually learn her name?
It depends, but there are lots of public policy reasons why when it comes to a suit like this, when it comes to...
One of the most memorable moments of Sir came in 2018 when Beyoncé and Jay-Z shared a heartwarming photo of her holding the twins on her lap. At just under a year old, Sir and Rumi looked absolutely adorable in matching outfits. Fans were thrilled by this rare, sweet glimpse into the usually private world of the Carter family. It was a moment of vulnerability that many cherished, offering a more personal side of the superstar couple.
Minor that we say that you can remain anonymous. Now, again, I wish I could give you a specific answer, but in part it depends on how far this case goes, whether or not we might hear testimony. But I think it is important for people to know that the law does provide protection many times for people filing these types of suits, particularly, again, against very powerful celebrities, because regardless of what you think of this specific case, you can understand there are reasons why we would want to protect people's privacy when it comes to these types of cases.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned this earlier in your first answer, but just to remind our viewers, Jay-Z filed a lawsuit against the attorney representing the plaintiff. What does his lawsuit allege?
Essentially that this is a frivolous case, that it amounts to extortion, and this is the most forceful way that you can respond to this type of allegation, meaning not just Jay-Z isn't just saying, I am not liable. It's not guilt, it's liability because it's a civil suit. But he's saying, I am the victim of a shakedown and I want to vindicate my rights. And what you can see in these situations is sometimes an attorney could be held in contempt for filing a case or for adding a particular party. Sometimes these are pretty extraordinary circumstances. You can see an attorney that's actually reported to the state bar where they work. But this is part of, I think, the lawsuit, obviously, that Jay-Z filed. It's a lawsuit in and of itself, but it's also the most forceful response you can possibly give.
Any chance that this could turn into a criminal case, given that it happened in 2000?
I don't think so, based on the statute of limitations. The suit was filed in, obviously, it's a civil case in federal court under a New York law that provides a so-called look back, meaning that the statute of limitations, there's an exception, and it opens up for specific types of allegations for a specific window of time. We saw this in the case that E. Jean Carroll brought against President Trump. There was a look back provision in one of those cases. Similar thing here.
All right, CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson, thanks.
Fast forward to Halloween 2022, and the Carter family completely stole the spotlight with their themed costumes inspired by the Proud family. Sir dressed up as Bee, while his twin sister Rumi was dressed as So. Blue Ivy took the lead role as Penny, and Beyoncé and Jay-Z completed the look as Trudy and Oscar. Sir's tiny costume had fans melting, proving once again that he's a scene stealer, even in the smallest ways. It was a fun and adorable moment that captured the hearts of many.
Accusers law firm telling NBC News that the woman alleging Jay-Z raped when she was 13 years old is expected to undergo a voluntary polygraph test tomorrow. This after our exclusive interview with the now 38-year-old mother from Alabama found inconsistencies with her account. We agreed to conceal her identity as an victim.
What made you finally want to talk about it?
Well, I mean, nobody was going to believe me back then. Like, nobody.
In the wake of our reporting, Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Spiro, is pushing a judge to dismiss the accuser's lawsuit.
We expect Mr. Carter to be fully cleared of all of this in the coming days. almost nothing that she says has checked out because this never happened.
On the night of the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000, the woman says Sean Diddy Combs' limo driver took her to an after party at a White House with a U-shaped driveway. There, the woman says she spoke to musician Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo that's the Last Supper.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative for the Maddens confirmed that they were on tour in the Midwest at that time and did not attend the 2000 VMAs. At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter. She says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who drove more than 5 hours to pick her up.
We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not corroborate her story. I feel like I would remember that, and I don't, he said. A representative for Carter told NBC News that Jay-Z never attended a house party after the VMAs. They say he went to a nightclub for several hours, then went to his recording studio in Manhattan. In a follow-up phone interview, we asked her about the contradictions, and she said that she stands by her statements.
This woman is standing by her story. It happened over 20 years ago. Maybe her memory is hazy. Maybe her father doesn't remember that night.
No, she's doubled down on certain of these details. They says, I'm positive no one has come forward about this in nearly a quarter of a century, and that's because this never happened.
A representative for Combs called the suit a shameless money grab.
I haven't asked for a dime from him. Not everything is motivated by money, and I'm sorry that he feels that it is.
The accuser's lawyer says his client remains adamant about her claim, that she signed 2 affidavits and that he's waiting for the results of tomorrow's polygraph. Chloe Malas,